Welcome back. The Minister of Environment, Dr. Yasmin Fouad, confirmed that the Science Club in the Ubbat Al Hassana Protectorate in the 6th of October city is a new beacon for environmental awareness with the natural reserves, and one of the activities of the Get Ready for Green initiative, which aims at educating citizens from all walks of life and all ages and groups. And also the Minister of Environment said that the club aims at attracting the school trips to increase students' awareness of natural reserves and global environmental issues. And with us live over the phone is Dr. Magdy Allam, and he is a consultant of the Global and Environmental Climate Awareness Program in the Ministry of Environment. Good morning, Dr. Allam.
Morning.
How are you doing, sir?
Alhamdulillah. Well,
let us first talk about this very inspiring initiative, Get Ready for Green. If you like to give us a quick briefing over that particular initiative.
This is actually a very impressive initiative that we are waiting for a long time because of Al Hassana special geological situation, and the situation was a part of 3 or 4. So this area is called the hills. So the mountains are four living in this area with a hill that we did call it Al-Malaika money. Al-Malaika and stone itself was circular and composed of 4 times texture. So we call actual Hasana as a dome because it was a part of hill, but actually the texture of the stone in this area is very special one. So you know that of those kinds of of the border valley, the western states. So some areas call it that and this Isaac is changing the character soon it because some of them small rather than being solid structure. So this is actually one of their situations, and actually to support that admire with of Minister Fouad start to highlight this area because actually it was neglected for years, that now actually have an aspect to be shown in front of all the visitors. Till now, it wasn't actually accepted to be attractive. Nowadays, the way itself is more improved and the situation is more improved. No garbage is like 2 or 3 years ago was used by some of the farmers that the workers as a store of garbage. Nowadays, to completely clean, and that the to have as a science. The science club is different than the official education curriculum of sciences. The science club gives the young people actually to have their experiments, to have their trials, to have their training on the new trends of the nature protection, and actually to highlight this special area because of its constitution is completely different rather than the other parts of the round in the area. And you know, of course, there are 4 hills. One of them is now called the New Giza city. It was a hill also. The other one was used in the bridge between connecting the 26th July street with the 6th October street. The third one is in the entrance of the area itself, so when you finish the pyramid. So I would like to connect the structure of this area with the pyramids, so, which is actually nearby. So we have 2 hills parallel to each other. One of the pyramids itself is a big hill, and the other one is Qubbat Al Hassana. The Hassana dome is actually a special structure of geology. and we call it Malaika pounds or the Malaika money, because we discovered a lot of circular stones, special one, that means that it was at a time exposed to some irradiation and some geological changes that changed the kinds of the land in this area to be a dome, Al-Hasana dome. So I do actually support the initiative of Dr. Yasmin Fuad, the Minister of Environment, to highlight in this area, to start to have a training courses, not only a research unit, because the Ministry of Environment has its own lab, central lab, and has also branch labs in the 5 regions all over the country, that actually I'm supporting the involvement of the science clubs of environment. This is actually a real science club of environment and ecological system, to be educating the new generation through the visits of the high schools and maybe the primary schools, and also some of the colleges like the Faculty of Science or the Faculty of Geology or the Faculty of Natural Resources. It will be a good chance now to add from the Ministry of Environment another item to support the new and actually the initiative of the climate change resilience that being raised by President El-Sisi, and it was shown actually in COP27, but Egypt will go to COP28 to show also what is the successful modules that we have in Egypt to support, and I'm actually hope to see one of those initiatives of the young generation who are committed to the ecological system, to educate the ecological system, to share with us, with the government, with the non-governmental organizations, with the science centers, with the Faculty of Agriculture, with the Faculty of Geology also, to have a big team, widespread team, covering all the areas and the items related to the geological area, which is still one of the rare areas all over the country, like the one of the Al-Muqattam Hill. It was one of the 4 hills surrounding the Greater Cairo. The famous one, of course, is the Muqattam one. Nowadays, the Minister of Environment has shown the importance of Hasana to be a new hill, to have a new visit, and I admire also and I support the initiative to have some of the trees, because of the trees, special trees to be implanted here, not a traditional tree, and not using a lot of water resources, because it maybe affect the structure of the mountain or the hill in this area. So the selection of the trees must be selected carefully to actually to support the geological structure, which is actually the most important one, as one of the phases all over the changes of the earth layers.
Right. Dr. Allam, I would kindly ask you to speak up a little bit, because the voice is very low, as I'm trying to hardly get the words, but generally speaking, as we have, like you kindly mentioned, I imagine you said that Egypt has very successfully hosted one of the most powerful conferences, climate conferences, which is COP27, showing to the whole world and setting an example for everyone how Egypt is turning into green, and especially setting Sharm el-Sheikh as a city, a green city, for visitors who came to attend this conference. Speaking about this initiative, I can imagine that this is the first collaboration between the Ministry of Environment and also the sector of the natural protectorates. And it's all by Egyptian youth, efforts, and the collaboration of young people, and also private sector, some private sector organizations and all that. Talk to us about the important role that is played by the Egyptian youth, how they are fully aware of the importance of preserving the environment and standing up to the dangers of climate change and working tooth and nail for turning Egypt into a green country?
Actually, 27 round of the climate resilience program being done by the World Committee for this, and actually Egypt was so successfully present all the items of the climate resilience that being done by the Egyptian government and the partners of the NGOs and the private sector. Actually, the initiative of what's called compensation of loss and damage, which is actually one of the main items of the climate change treaty, and it was difficult to have acceptance of the partners because of all the industrial countries refused to give direct money for support of the countries, especially the sub-Saharan countries, all the countries exposed to the dry and arid and semi-arid land, which actually a severe drought with a loss of big areas of nutrition and kinds of foods for the South Africa. And because of this, maybe up to 8 countries like Somalia and Chad and Niger was so affected by the climate change, and the drought was severe, actually damaging the resources of the bread especially and the other kinds of food, and it was actually a real immigration from the sub-Saharan to another countries, and we did touch it and catch it in Somalia and Chad, Niger, and maybe some parts of Sierra Leone, some parts of the Western African countries. It's actually a severe impact of climate change, negative impact of climate change on the natural resources, the holy nexus that we are calling the water, energy, and food, which is actually the formula for the life, for the lifestyle of the people, was so affected by the low production of food, and actually the loss of a lot of the cereals, actually production of many areas, lands being lost because of the dry and semi-dry era that happened in those countries. Right. And of course it was completely imported and by high cost of money, which is not actually available for the African country. So Egypt actually tried to put this module of nexus, water, energy, food, to be the ideal nexus that we are looking to apply it, especially in the arid and semi-arid lands. So the afforestation itself was actually so dramatic, being drought, and a lot of areas being exposed to be a dry area rather than a vegetation area, which actually producing even the animals. The animals are so affected by the loss of their fodder and feeding.
Exactly, and wildlife also. Unfortunately, Dr. Allam, we've ran out of time on a promise that you could talk to us again in another episode of The Breakfast Show and give us some of your very valuable information. You are an environmental expert and official, and also you are a global climate awareness program consultant. Thank you so much for talking to The Breakfast Show, and I guess by this we come to the end of this edition of The Breakfast Show for this morning. Many thanks to all of you. Until we see you again tomorrow morning, that's a goodbye.